business owners and executives from around the valley. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Business Leaders. My name is Lance Cardoza, and you're watching Business Leaders here on KMPH Fox 26. I have the president and partner in the business Fresno Grizzlies, and we all recognize that logo, the Grizzlies, and I've been very involved with the Grizzlies over the years, Derek, and I've interviewed you many times. Excited to bring you on my show, Business Leaders, here on KMPH Fox 26. Thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for having me. It's really always a pleasure, and look forward to doing it here on KMPH. This is great.
This is good stuff. So everybody's been talking about the first several episodes here of Business Leaders is coming out of the pandemic. And if anybody, sports, entertainment, they were hit very hard with the pandemic. And I know you're probably sick of those questions because it all talks about it, but it is, does it feel good? And I know it did for me to hear that ball, that first crack of the bat when it happened in Chichancy Park.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, nobody thought we would lose an entire season. And I've told this story a bunch of times to many people that I know, but I might have been one of the worst at predicting what was going to happen in early April of 2020 than anybody that I know, because I said we'd be playing by May, we'd be playing by June, we'd be playing by July 4th, and our season was canceled officially June 30th of 2020. And it's the first time minor league baseball had not been played in 100 years or something. So really crazy for us, and really for our business, the layover was much longer than most other types of businesses, because if you really think back to when we last operated the ballpark, it was September. Last baseball game was September of the prior year. We had a couple off-day events, non-baseball events at the end of 2019. But much longer road to recovery for us as we were just getting ready to open up a season after a long off season when the pandemic hit. So as you said, hearing the crack of the bat and having fans back in the ballpark, it felt like a long road to get back to this, and we're just obviously thrilled to be back playing baseball.
And once baseball was happening, it just all came back. It's like riding a bicycle or a horse. It just started to become natural. Things fell into place, it seemed like.
Absolutely.
Even with fans, because it was sort of a different feeling when you were at the ballpark, because you didn't know, is there a protocols, and there was in the beginning, and so it was very different. But once you got to see the game playing, it just all came back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like riding a bike. I say it. Cooking getting the sausage cart going again right there when you enter through the VIP entrance, and I had
a couple of those sausages. Actually.
I've seen you there.
Just a couple.
I've seen you there with Smokey. I have seen that. All the things you're used to at the ballpark, and we couldn't bring everything back right away. But to your point, as we kind of treated the beginning of the season as a slow kind of reopening, a soft reopening, if you will, because we opened at 33% capacity, and there were some things that were different. But as we got closer to that June 15th date and rolled into the 4th of July, everything just started feeling normal day by day, and it was like we lost no time at all.
Exactly, and a lot of people too, because of the pandemic, it became creatures of habit. It was a year, and it's very hard for people to realize we're playing baseball again. Baseball's happening in downtown Fresno, and it was evident that people were getting it, and they really wanted to get out when about a month ago, the 4th of July weekend. You guys had 3 huge days of baseball. Typically, you'd have one big night of 4th of July, but you had 3 big days of fireworks, and people are still talking about it. It's a month later, and they're still talking about that exciting weekend. And I know we broadcast on television right here. It was the CW, the sister station, a huge end of the game that was just great. All played out on television in a packed crowd. Tell me about that feeling, that energy of that weekend.
Well, that weekend was really special. We felt like that was sort of a do-over or a redo of what opening weekend should have been like after missing an entire season. We called it Fresno's reopening weekend because we got to combine 3 nights of fireworks celebrations rather than just the one. We had the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th this year, the way the schedule worked out. And we envisioned opening weekend being what we saw at Chichancy Park on the 4th of July weekend this year. We thought that's what it would look like when we opened in May.
Yeah.
If you go back and go, hey, we lost a season, what's the homecoming going to look like when we finally come back? And we didn't get to really do that the way we wanted in May because we were still at 33% capacity with social distancing. And so to get to the reopening just in time for that 4th of July weekend was just, it was a coming out party for our community to come back to Grizzlies games, get to do it 3 nights in a row. We had our best 3 crowds of the year back to back to back. And to your point, I think that Saturday night game that we thankfully had our broadcasts on the CW that night, I think that's one of the most exciting comeback wins I've seen in Grizzlies history that was, of no consequence to playoffs or something like that.
At one point, it was 9-2, and we were like in the 7th inning. And in the production room, we were thinking, it's going to be hard to pull this out at the end. And then a home run, and then a home run.
That's the type of game that 9-2, down 9-2 on a Saturday. If you don't have post-game fireworks or a post-game activity of some kind for fans, that's the type of outcome in a game where you're down that much early, where you start to see people trickle out of the ballpark much earlier than normal. And so we've seen that a lot over the years. If either way, home team or otherwise, if it's sort of tipped pretty, you don't feel like you have to stay to the end of the game. Sometimes people start leaving early. You're not doing that on the 3rd of July when you're waiting for the big fireworks extravaganza. And so we had a captive audience sitting and waiting, thinking that the outcome of the game was pretty much determined when they were down 9-2 early.
It started to get a little quiet for a moment.
Yes. And I have chills thinking about it because really just, again, part of that coming back and feeling like it was in 2019 before we lost the season. A lot of things have to happen to get back to normal, and that felt not only normal but exciting. And we had, you could feel the electricity of the fan base as they started to see the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes Dodgers affiliate. There were some Dodger fans.
Oh, I know.
There was a lot of blue hats down the third base line, and they were pretty loud early on. They were outnumbered, but they were loud when they were up 9-2. And the momentum at the end of the game shifted, and you could really see the momentum shift in the way that the crowd was reacting, and you could see the jitters start to really be there on the opposing side as you see a walk or pass ball.
Exactly.
And you could just really see that the crowd helped push the Grizzlies over that night. Really a magical moment. If I could have scripted it, I would have written it exactly like that.
Just like that. It was a huge game to end on television there that night, and it was a lot of fun. And it's fun when you're in the back working and you're watching it unfold and happen, and you're trying to keep all the live elements going. And for those of you that don't know, producing Grizzlies to CW, it was a lot of fun back there. But when we come back, I want to talk about the affiliation. The affiliation made a change just before the pandemic, and then we came into the new affiliation. We'll talk about that and more when we return here with Business Leaders. My name is Lance Cardoza. Derek Franks, don't go away. More to come with the president of the Fresno Grizzlies, Derek Franks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Business Leaders here on KMPH Fox 26. My name is Lance Cardoza, joined by Derek Franks, the president of the Fresno Grizzlies and partner in the Grizzlies. And talk to me about becoming a partner, and let's talk also about the affiliation of the Fresno Grizzlies with Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. So, my time with the Grizzlies started a long time ago. I started in 2004. I've been through 2 ownership transitions during the time that I've been with the team. And in this most recent one, I was thankful to be able to play a little bit of a role in the transition from the Fresno baseball group over to the current ownership group, which is called Fresno Sports and Events. And during that transition, I was awarded after the conclusion of it, I should say, I was awarded a little promotion to team president. My role, a lot of the same duties, but a little bit different role with the new ownership's expectations. And after our first season together, they did invite me to join the ownership group as a minority partner. So
that's
really a dream come true.
Yeah,
it's a dream come true for me. I'm a hometown guy, grew up in Kingsburg. I went to Fresno State, Reedley College, then Fresno State, and started, as a seasonal kind of part-time, just something to do in the summer to get some experience. Turned into something that changed my life and has been a part of my adult life in a major way. So to be the hometown guy that got to work his way up into running the team and then get to be an owner was really just more than I could have ever imagined happened to me as when I walked in the door years ago.
And I saw you progress, you know, through the years you were progressing in a different position. And I think I was privy to that email, and I think it came from Michael Baker, the general managing partner. And it was a press conference to announce the new ownership, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And in that email, and I'll never forget it, it said, no, I want to make sure that I speak, and then after it'll be the president of the Grizzlies, Derek Franks. And I remember you, I was more upset with you for like, why didn't you tell me this? And I called you like, yeah, I think your words were, dude, I just found out myself. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
That I knew something would be coming, but that was sort of the turning point of you're now part of the group, and they embraced you and kept you as the future. And then you go on this wild ride of the pandemic and new affiliation and everything else that you've endured through the years with the Grizzlies and growing the brand. Tell me about the affiliation with the Colorado Rockies, because what's different is, because a lot of people say it was AAA and it's low A ball now, which I could tell you from personal experience. Just super excited to watch the baseball play out on the field, because the baseball is a different baseball than what we had before. It was good baseball, AAA, but these guys are hungry. This is fun baseball to watch.
You know, I think that baseball fans with a keen eye for the game can appreciate both. And I think, you know, at AAA, clearly you've got that one step away from Major League Baseball. It's that last step before you complete the journey of getting to, you know, go and achieve the big dream of getting on a Major League roster. And that's exciting. And, you know, we got to do that as a Giants affiliate, an Astros affiliate. 1 year with the Nationals. We lost our second year with them, obviously, due to the pandemic. Yeah. Really exciting to see those guys that close. To your point, though, at the beginning of their journey from to try to go from high school and get drafted, or go from college and get drafted, this is, you know, for a lot of guys that came from the Rockies system this year and put on a Grizzlies jersey, this is their first pro experience that after they've signed a contract to be a professional player. So the drive and the intensity and the you know, kind of that childhood gleam in their eye by taking the field in Fresno for the first time professionally, it's cool and it's very exciting. So I think that if you have a keen eye, where I kind of started here was, if you have a keen eye for baseball, you can appreciate the level of talent and the development all the way through. And I think we've a lot of our diehard fans have said the same thing you have, which is, hey, this is exciting. And this is a young, energetic, it's a different stage of development that we're not used to seeing. Yeah. And it is exciting and it's fun. And, you know, we've had a great team as well. And so they've had some exciting moments.
Talk to me about the experience. What's nice about minor league baseball, and a lot of people don't know this, but with Fresno Grizzlies, it's not like Major League Baseball, which is really, you're featuring the best of the players in the world. At the minor league system, you're creating the entertainment value for families and people to come out and experience baseball. Sometimes the very first time catching a baseball game, a professional game. But talk to me about the experience that people have when they come to Chauncey Park.
Well, I've always said that from a baseball standpoint, whether you're seeing AAA or low A or anything in between, there's 120 affiliated baseball teams in the country. And you're seeing the best of the best, whether it's a 19-year-old prospect or a 23-year-old prospect who's one step away from the majors in AAA. You're seeing the best of the best. You know, I wanted to play baseball at any minor league level, and I was good enough to get a desk job at a baseball team. So think about how many people have this dream and don't get as close as being in low A or single A or double A. So it's really remarkable. You're seeing the best of the best at any level. You know, and there is a lot of player movement. It's really not about the wins and losses, even though it's fun to win and it's fun to have a good record the way the Grizzlies have had this year. But it's really about development. So, you know, as good as your best player is, that might mean that he's going to advance to the next level very soon. So our business has always been really centered around the entertainment aspect, being a community hub for entertainment, for fun, for memories. And so, you know, like I said, there's 120 cities that have affiliated baseball. Fresno is one of them. And because there's a lot of player movement, the business is really built around having fun and the promotions and the food and all the things that, you know, everybody can agree is fun as you watch the kind of the baseball change.
Talk about fun. You got taco truck Taco Truck Throwdown coming up in a couple of months. We'll talk about that. We have to take a short break. When we come back, I'm sitting here with the president and partner of the Fresno Grizzlies, Derek Franks. We have more to come here on Business Leaders, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Business Leaders. Remind you, every Tuesday morning, 11 a.m., I bring you Business Leaders right here on KMPH Fox 26. And this business leader, President Derek Franks of the Fresno Grizzlies, your story is a great story. It shows what I call sweat equity, is that you came in and you started as an intern, and now you find yourself as a partner and the president of the club. Talk to me about that journey, because you climbed pretty quickly. And right here, local boy, right here at Kingsburg. How was that first experience? I understand it was a job fair.
Yeah, my first I started going to Grizzlies games at Biden Field with my dad, and came to a couple games when it was just called Grizzlies Stadium. Of course, it's Chachansey Park today. And I also was playing baseball. Wasn't going to really have a advance to some sort of stellar career. Played high school baseball. And kind of realized that my time playing was not going to amount to much more than what it was. And I remember sitting and having a conversation with my dad going, hey, I just want to be around baseball. I'm not going to be playing. Yeah. And he said, hey, go get a job in sports. Go work in baseball. My dad had wanted to be a broadcaster. He called, he was a PA announcer for, Avenel football, and he did some radio stuff when he was in college.
Probably Vince Scully was a huge fan
Vince
of
Scully was my hero of baseball as an announcer.
Awesome,
and it's
yeah.
partly because my dad, we listened to the game growing up together, and we didn't watch a lot of games on TV. It was radio and Vince Scully. And so my dad said, I didn't know how to pursue broadcasting. There was not a lot of resources like you guys have now. And of course, there's much more than when I got into baseball. There's a lot of, most schools have sports marketing classes or degrees, and there's a lot more resources now. And so I started looking up. Hey, I'd been to Grizzlies games. I thought if I could get a AAA baseball team on my resume, that would stand out when I went to wherever I went to go pursue working in baseball. Yeah. And so I saw it as a stepping stone, where if they looked at my resume, they'd see baseball team, and I would maybe get a chance to get an opportunity somewhere. And went to a job fair, stood in line. There was 1,000-something people that would come look, to get the seasonal jobs that you get each year, the ticket takers,
you do those
ushers.
Still today.
We still do it today. As long as I am a part of the team, we'll always do it, because you just never know who's going to walk through the door. And that's not a nod to me in any way. I think just that I was fortunate enough that they did it, and I think that we want to be ready for. To provide opportunities for anybody that you wouldn't normally expect, and so I walked through the door, handed my piece of paper in, and actually I went in 2003 and I never got called, and so
I understand a buddy of yours drove there.
Yeah, so I went.
He got called back.
Yeah, I went with a friend of mine who just was sort of tagging along. Hey, that sounds fun. This was like an ambition of mine. It was a resume thing, and he said, hey, I'll roll with you. And so we drove together Fresno. He got a call and got an interview and got offered to work there. I got nothing. I had never done that before, gone to a job fair. Really, no experience doing that.
And this is just the guy tagging along. And
he tagged along with you, a good friend of mine, and he just said, hey, I'll go with you. So I'll never forget, he called me and he said, hey, the Grizzlies offered me to go work, game nights up there in Fresno. And I was so bummed out that he got it and I didn't. But of course, being a good friend and being, I was supportive, and I said, hey, man, I'm really excited for you. Go up there, you do a great job at it, and put in a good word for me. Maybe I can get in someday. Yeah. And he said, oh, well, I didn't take the job. Oh. And I swear, it was like in the cartoons when your face turns red and the steam starts coming out of your ears.
What do you mean you didn't take the job?
You didn't take the job. I wanted that job. And it's not like I could go call them and say, like, hey, give me that job. It's, I missed the opportunity. So I actually went back the next year and tried again. And I went in with a different perspective. I went in before, like I said, handed my piece of paper and walked out. I got some great advice from some people that have helped me along the way. Said, hey, if you're going to go in with 1,000 people, every piece of paper kind of looks the same. Yeah. The names are different. You don't have any experience. You haven't done anything. So what are you going to do to stand out? And so I have been fortunate that worked out. I went in and kind of tried to stand out in the way that I best knew how, which was just kind of, as a shy kid back then, go work the room and shake everybody's hand and really
in
a respectful way. Yeah, absolutely. And that was a difference maker for me, I think my piece of paper got set in the thing. We do it now. It's like, call that one,
From what I remember about your story, there was someone that you ran into before you jumped in an elevator and you shook his hand.
I got lucky.
And
So
you introduced yourself.
Jerry McCurney was there was kind of a new management team back then at that time who had, they had some new folks in, and so Jerry McCurney was in the elevator with me. He was a VP of operations, and so look, we all kind of wear a lot of hats, and on the operational side, this guy's an executive who'd wear a suit like you, but that particular day, he was doing something very operationally heavy. So he was in jeans, and he was dirty. I remember him being sort of filthy, like he had been fixing a broken sprinkler or something, or digging a hole.
Yeah.
And he's on the elevator with me, and I have no clue who this person is. And I was more introverted back then.
Nervous,
and this was my first interaction, but once I got, and it's me and another guy in the elevator, and I'm going, this guy's filthy. If he's coming here trying to get a job looking like that, I'm going to beat him at least. And I almost didn't say anything. It was the test at that moment of was I going to stick to my plan of not doing what I did before, where I did just put the paper out.
Were you going to judge the situation or do something?
Yeah, and I was nervous, man. I was like, should I say something? This is where I have to start shaking hands and being more, put myself out there. And I thought, well, not with this guy, because I don't know who he is. And ends up, I put my hand out, shook his hand, VP of operations. And it was really just the first moment, man, you just never know. And that was the start of handling that a lot differently.
Wow. So it goes to show you've got to go in there with a different mindset and stand out, and especially as a young person, because you could be the next president of the Fresno Grizzlies. Derek, thank you for being on my program, Business Leaders. Always love having you on. And we'll have you back. I'm sure there's some big stuff coming. Taco Truck Throwdown, throw out the date.
October 23rd.
October 23rd. You don't want to miss it. Taco Truck Throwdown down at Chachansey Park. That's all the time we have here at Business Leaders. We will be back next week, Tuesday at 11 a.m. right here on KMPH, Fox 26.